And here we are, and another glorious sunny afternoon.
It's true.
Slightly sunny.
Should we tell the people where we are?
We are in 32 Mount Hutton, Meadow, Mount Hutton, for the last time ever, and the first time ever.
That's true.
Welcome to 2021, by the way. This is our first podcast of the year.
Yep.
Not that our other podcasts will be published in 2020, because they'll also be published in 2021, but this is episode 3 of HQLA.
I would say it's more a communication administrational error than anything else. We did have some podcasts ready in 2020.
We definitely did,
but,
yes.
Just juggling too many plates, you know?
Yeah, not quite posted yet, but
No.
that juicy content will be coming through. Doctors recommend you listen to this not once, but 3 times a day. It's HQLA. And we are going into hot IPO of the week. It's ABNB.
Can I just say that somehow it's just turned into that for you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You've just continued to choose IPOs.
I mean, this is the third, and maybe the final for a little while.
It was never planned, so...
I just decided to do IPOs, and then I just kept going. So, we just kept going with that, and now we have one that is 1 month old. It's AirBnB.
Can I just say something? This podcast is sponsored by Rainbird. They don't know that yet, but it's sponsored by them.
I'm going to blur that out, and then I'm going to blur out you saying Rainbird. No, I said it too. No, I have more to...
So much work.
I'll let one of them slip, and then just for comedic effect. So, I think with this one, I don't have to explain it too deeply. Okay. I'm pretty sure everyone knows Airbnb, so, they kind of understand, you're going away...
Yep.
And you're looking for an alternative to a hotel.
Most people would have used it by now, do you think?
I think a lot of people would have used it.
Yeah, I think so.
It only started in 2007, so...
Okay.
So it was these 3 guys that were... one of them was living in Silicon Valley.
Yep.
And he just had this kind of idea. He just wanted to start a business, but he had no idea what he wanted to do. So what he did, he called up... He had 2 friends, and he got them, and he said, hey, you guys should quit your jobs... Wow. And you should come and live with me in Silicon Valley.
Must have been a pretty cool guy.
Where the rent... Well, I mean, they listened, so, I think they did. So they moved from LA to Silicon Valley.
Yep.
Where the rent was very expensive and still is.
Yeah.
And
that's going down at the moment.
I think it's still...
Everyone's moving away.
True, everyone is moving away, but I think it's still one...
Everyone.
Everyone's
Elon
moving.
Musk.
Everyone's moving.
And Sam Parr.
Sam Parr, yeah. Austin. Yeah, well, you know how it is. All the alternative places like Austin, they're pumping. Yeah. Joe Rogan's there now, and so is Sam Parr.
It's the hub. Oh, sorry,
it's the hub. No, let's keep going. So yeah, he was just like, hey, come and quit your jobs and move in. Yeah. And so they couldn't really afford it, and they just came, and they were just like, oh, what are we gonna do? Like, we don't really understand what we're gonna do for a job. Yeah. And they had they were running out of money. So they were literally there for a month, and they were running out of money.
Wow.
No job, no idea what to do.
Could I just question something for a sec? At this point, he hadn't pitched an idea for Airbnb at all.
No, he hadn't pitched
so
any
he's just kind of like, hey, you guys are pretty smart, or you guys are cool.
Yeah,
I'd love to work with you. Let's do something.
I think they went to uni in college in Rhode Island or something together.
Yep. Cool.
And so
keep going.
They had this design conference coming up, though. Mm-hmm. And so this is the founding story. This is where it gets really good.
Awesome.
And so they were like, oh, man, I don't want to lose my mates. The landlord just raised the rent by 25%. Yeah. It's, it's $1,200 a week.
Crazy. And out of control.
Yeah, well, you know how it is. Yeah. And, that was the cheapest place they could get or something like that. So,
wait, $1,200?
No, I don't know what it was, but I think it was $1,000. But,
really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I'm not, I mean...
If it's wrong, you can do the asterisk and the actual number.
Yeah, I'll do the edit. That'll be right here. And and then so anyway, they were like, oh well, we can't really afford a split of it.
Yep.
We're really struggling with this. And then they noticed that there was a design conference coming up.
Yep.
And so what they did was they were like, oh, I know a way to make a little bit of extra money. We're developers, we know how to make a website.
Yeah.
Let's make airbedandbreakfast.com.
Nice.
And they went to the design website. And the design conference website, and it said hotels booked out, and so there was nowhere else to stay, and so they blew up 3 air mattresses.
Right, so there's people coming in from out of town.
Yeah.
To this conference, and they realised that there was an issue where there wasn't enough places for these people to stay.
And on the website of the design conference that they were going to, it just said no hotels. It said in red bold, no hotels available.
Okay. All right, so there's an issue.
And so they were like, oh, well, we know heaps of people going to this thing. Let's And
they've got an apartment that they pay $1,000 or whatever it is for.
And they were like, hey, we're going to set up an $80 a night for the 4-night conference. We're going to set up an $80 a night.
Yep.
We're going to give them internet, a desk, a
breakfast, assumably,
and then breakfast. We'll give them some cereal in the morning. We'll make them some bacon and eggs, whatever.
Yep.
And so then they started with that, and it really started to work. They got people on board.
Yep.
And they were literally like, hey, this was a good idea. But
amazing.
Where do we go from here, kind of thing?
Totally. How do you scale it?
And then they didn't really.
That seems, if you're in that situation, you had a weekend and you did that and it worked well, it'd be difficult to come up with a good way of scaling that.
Yeah. And so they did that, and they were like, and they had coffee with 10 investors or something like that, and all of them were like, oh, this is really weird, guys. Yeah. I don't want to be involved in this. People are staying at each other's houses. Yeah. That's so weird.
Totally.
Who's going to agree to that? Who's going to agree to do that?
It seems a bit strange.
And so, it's weird. It's a weird concept. If you go back, 15 years. Yeah. Or 13 years to 2007. It's definitely weird. So anyway, they had another event coming up. It was South by Southwest.
Can I just pause for a sec? I don't know if anyone just heard that in the ambient mic, but it was a sick little M2 that just went past.
Ah, okay.
It looked awesome.
Okay.
It sounded sick.
Was it one of the electric blue?
It was electric blue, yeah.
Yeah.
It looked great. Sorry, keep going.
Yes, no, brilliant. And so, anyway, they went, all right, South by Southwest is coming up, and it's like a bit of it. So they did a bit of a trial period. They got a couple of people on, I think, and they didn't really have a huge amount of traction, but they got a couple of people, and they got it to kind of work. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of South by Southwest is a bit of creative conference kind of thing.
Right.
And then what happened was they properly launched their product on they decided to do it on Obama's inauguration, not inauguration, it was the Democratic National Convention, which happens in Denver. So there were 100,000 people scheduled to come. Yep. And there were 30,000 hotel rooms in the city. Okay. So they were like,
do the math.
Okay, there's 70,000. There's a deficit here of 70,000 that we need to fill. Yep. And I think the mayor had even said, hey, we're opening up these parks, you can camp in them. There were that many people.
Wow, okay. Cool.
And so anyway, so this was when Obama was a big kind of deal. He was running for his election, whatever. Yep. So then they kept so then they got it kind of launched and they got it happening. Yep. And there were a couple of hundred listings, that kind of thing. Yep. So they were kind of launching.
So they built their marketplace and they got a couple of hundred people to put their houses on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So I think it was a very manual process. It was very much like, hey, I know you're renting this place out. Yep. Why don't you use on my new website, airbnbbreakfast.com. Yep. And so then they kind of launched it, and then they kind of had it going. Yep. And then they got it scaled after that launch date, because it was a great place to launch it because it was just such a big event and everyone needed it. You know?
That's good.
And so anyway, they launched it from there. They got a couple of thousand people signed up eventually, over a bit of time. Okay. But at this stage, they had a binder, like a CD kind of binder kind of thing. Yeah. But it was full of credit cards. So they had a book that was full of credit cards that they would max out one, use the next one, max out one.
That's how they're bankrolling this.
That's how they're bankrolling. So it's bootstrapping in the world of entrepreneurship.
Yep, I've heard of that.
And so that's a bit of a fun term. So anyway, they were really, really grinding to do that. And then what happened?
Do you know where that term originates?
Where does that originate?
It's you hold the straps of your boots and you try and lift yourself off the ground.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
That's the concept.
Well, it makes sense in this because
it's good.
That's what it is. They're really trying to struggle to to make it happen. So anyway, they end up they get very desperate for money, and they sell, and I think you know about this one already, but they get to a desperate point, and they're like,
yeah, but the people don't know.
Well, yeah, the people don't know. The people don't know. And you might be the only listener. But no, I'm just kidding.
We're having a lot of fun.
100,000 subscribers by 2021. So by 2022, I mean, we are in 2021. Anyway, so Obama Rose and Captain McCain's. That's what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to explain what that means. Okay. So they were like at the kitchen bench. They were like, oh man, like we've got bed and breakfast. Yep. Like what goes with a B&B? Yep. Like bed and breakfast. Oh. All right. Cereal. They'll need cereal in the morning. They'll need cereal in the morning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so they were like, oh, okay. So like, what could we do? and then they thought of it's a 2 a.m. conversation.
Yeah.
They thought of a silly idea. They palmed it off. The next day, they're like, actually, this is not bad.
What have we got to lose, right?
It's not bad. So they got a whole bunch of cereal boxes, and then they took the cereal out of it. They bought it. I think they bought them wholesale.
I don't know what that was.
Some gunshots.
Sorry.
We're in the hood out here in Mount Hutton. So they got a whole bunch of cereal boxes and like wholesale cheap $2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they created a custom design, one for each campaign.
Okay.
So like one for Obama, one for Captain, one for
I heard
John
they
McCain.
actually just got Cheerios and reboxed them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's
Is that right?
It was. I don't know if it was Cheerios specifically. They got like a different shape for each.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure. That might be right.
Okay.
But anyway, so they sent 100 of the boxes to different media companies.
Oh,
and
smart.
so they went and they and they sent them all out to 100 different places.
Yeah.
Then they numbered each box 1 to 500.
Oh.
And sold a limited edition.
Scarcity.
Yeah, a limited edition Obama Rose and Captain McCain's.
Wow.
And they made $20,000 off those. They sold them for $40 a box.
Wow.
And
I wonder if any exist today.
Yeah, well,
that'd be cool.
I think that they would bid up because I think that they reselled. They reselled.
I can imagine.
Even higher. So they went on eBay for $100, whatever.
Even now, particularly around the IPO, I wonder if anyone had a box at home and sort of
like the OG design.
And tried to sell it off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so anyway, and then here's where Y Combinator comes in again.
Right.
And we've talked about them before. But
have all of your companies been through Y Combinator?
I think so. I know Palantir did.
Okay.
I don't know Snowflake for sure.
Okay.
But I'll have to fact check that one. Okay. But you just destroy me in the comments below. So
in the Apple Podcast comments.
The Apple Podcast comments.
Yeah.
Leave me a 5-star review and then write a mean comment.
I think you've time's running out.
My time's running out. All right, I better hurry.
All right.
So anyway, I'm up to 0.1 of 6. So that's the hustle. That's the kind of hustle that got them into Y Combinator.
Yep.
So that's where they were impressed.
Okay.
So talking recent events.
Yep.
We've got they're kind of risky stock.
Yep.
At the moment because it's a travel kind of stock.
Yep. That's what you're saying.
So bookings in Europe in the second week of March in 2020.
Yeah.
Were down 80%.
Wow. Okay.
And
from the year before.
Yeah, from the year before.
Yeah.
And they managed a profit in quarter 3 in 2020.
Yeah.
So
that's impressive.
It wasn't a profitable company overall because they struggled in the holistic profit of it because they were really struggling for the first.
Okay, but you're saying for that quarter.
For that specific quarter, they made a profit.
They made a net profit,
which is impressive.
That is impressive.
And so they were really doing well.
Yeah.
They were valued at $31 billion in 2017.
Yeah.
They were valued at $18 billion in April 2020.
Oh wow!
And they were valued at $40 billion on their IPO date.
Wow.
On the 10th of December, but
after the IPO.
But that's before. That's their actual IPO price.
Yes.
But the day finished, so that they're $40 billion.
Yep.
At the beginning, like pre-market, 10th of December. $86.5 billion at the end of the day.
I believe it.
They left so much on the table. So 112% growth.
Crazy.
On their first day of business.
That's
on their first day trading.
Yeah.
And they're currently at 151, so they've grown even a little further, but they're $151 a share. So they started at 68.
Do you own any?
I don't own any.
No, do I.
I'm still looking into it, but they're valued higher than the hotels Marriott and Hilton.
I have heard that. Yeah.
And they're valued higher than travel sites Booking and Expedia.
Wow.
And they're valued higher than Delta Airlines as well. So
wow.
All of those companies, it's a better company apparently. Okay, so pre-IPO in 2020, they were really working on before 2020, they were working on 2 key expansion areas.
Yep.
They were working on creating some transportation services that go with their they were just working on it in the back end.
Okay.
They didn't release anything, I think.
Like Uber.
Not like Uber. I'm talking about helping them book flights, helping them links to flights, and links to trains, and
no, that makes total sense.
And this is a good taxi company that operates out of here, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so that could be a really good integrated area. So they were putting a fair few million into that.
I can imagine, yeah.
And then they were putting in money into media as well. So they were trying to do a bit more media stuff.
Okay.
and trying to like kind of branch out in those two ways.
Okay.
So the reason that they're profitable is because they cut both of those completely out.
Yeah, right.
Cut both of those out, and they cut a quarter of their staff.
Really?
And the founders didn't take a salary.
Wow.
Another way that they were able to turn it around, because that's just cost cutting.
Yep.
It's like, how are they going to make a profit now?
Yep.
They actually have to have revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they focused, instead of flights and marketing flights to people and marketing Greece and marketing New York and all that kind of stuff to different people, they decided to market localized travel to people. So they decided to market, hey, what's the next town across in California?
Yep.
Let's send people ads for the next town across.
Yeah.
And so
interesting.
they got it really
Smart.
localized so that people could drive. People could still drive around America.
Yep.
They just couldn't fly they couldn't fly to other countries, I guess.
No, that's right.
So the next section I want to talk about is their really cool marketing. So they've got really, really well done marketing stuff.
Okay.
So they've got...
Could I just ask, what's the title of this section on your document?
The title of this section, which you weren't supposed to see, is Cool Marketing. That's why I said cool marketing. I'm gonna turn this way. You can't see this anymore. My screen is turned and I'm ready to continue.
Okay.
So they really have got some good stuff.
Okay.
They've got some really good ads.
Yep.
So they've got, first of all, their app, I would like to say, is very clean, and so is their website.
Yeah.
They got a really clean app. They got really well done user interface, user experience.
Yep.
And they've got a bunch of really nice campaigns that they've run.
Okay.
So my favorite one.
Yeah.
My favorite one is on the Salt Flats. There's a house out in the Salt Flats or whatever.
Yeah.
And the house comes with 2 Audi R8s. And
really?
Yeah. And so it was an ad between Audi but it's like an actual listing. So they have to make it an actual listing for the ad. So 2 Audi R8s.
Okay.
And the Salt Flats. And the whole premise of the ad is that the guy is like, oh, we're out of coffee. And he grabs the keys. He gets into the...
Is that an accent?
It was not an accent. That's my actual American voice because I'm American. And and he grabs the car keys and like he's like, what? He runs the Audi real fast.
Whoa!
Wow, so cool. And
how did he get there? He would have had his car there as well, though.
Well, I guess so, but it only shows the 2 Audis.
Okay.
He probably took a taxi to the middle of the Salt Flat, and so anyway, he's like pumping it through, and then he ends up at the coffee shop. And the guy that sells the coffee grounds has just got a random little corner store in the middle of the Salt Flat.
Yep.
And so he's like, "Hey George, I need some coffee."
He knew his name.
And then
so he'd been staying there for a while.
He's been staying there for a while apparently.
Okay.
And then he's like, I forgot my wallet." Another Audi pulls up, and then she's like, and the wife has her own Audi.
Oh yeah.
And she's like hands the wallet through the window, and then she's like, "I'll see you at home." And then she like turns around and just hooks it back.
That's a good campaign.
It's a very good campaign.
It's good.
Next campaign.
Yep.
Will Smith renting out the original Fresh Prince mansion. So
really
on Airbnb. So he doesn't own it or anything, but they did it. I think Airbnb bought it as a marketing stunt or something.
Oh wow.
Well, I don't know exactly.
Well, they had access to it.
They had access to it.
Yeah.
So he ran it, and they ran it as a vlog from Will Smith's channel, and so that got 7 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
So that's a pretty good.
I wonder what his compensation looks like for that.
Yeah, true. But they're renting it out at $30 a night. So, and it sounds crazy, but
renting what out?
The Fresh Prince mansion. So I think it's like a little bit of a joke, a little bit of a marketing expense.
Okay. Right.
Just to say, hey, let's book this out for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So,
great. It is interesting.
It's
good
pretty
campaign.
cool. It's pretty cool, and it definitely would have. And it's only a one night stay or whatever. So I guess it's just part of Airbnb's.
Yep.
I guess people that rent out the Fresh Prince mansion are going to use Airbnb more.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, they're going to tell their friends.
Yeah, they're definitely going to tell their friends.
Post it on
and they're going to
Instagram and stuff.
It's going to be free marketing forever.
That's good.
And the final campaign that I really like is they had a floating house on the Thames in London on the main river. Yeah. And they towed it. It's like a barge, but it looks like it's all made to look like a house.
Oh, really?
And so yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's very cool. And so there's a lot more. There's actually more campaigns than that, but those are my top 3.
That's good.
Those are the best picks.
I haven't seen this. Okay.
Yeah, so that was very interesting.
Clearly they don't. I'm not their targeted audience or something. Cause I
haven't seen any of them either. Well, I'd seen the Audi one. Okay. I saw the Audi one when it was new. Yeah. Because it was big on YouTube. Yeah. But apart from that, no, not really.
Okay, good.
All right, my final point about Airbnb is running it as a little startup. Yeah. This is an interesting model. So I was I was watching this guy that does it. He rents houses.
Yeah.
And then he lists them on Airbnb.
Oh.
And like not flips them, but like.
Is that legal?
Well, I was wondering about this, but apparently in the US you can do it.
Okay, I'd believe it.
So he
I'm
he
sure
rents
about
them.
here though.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Continue.
it's just subletting. Subletting has always been a thing. So I don't know. Anyway, so he rents them.
Yeah.
He set up an LLC, which is just a legal entity in the US, and then he built a business profile on Airbnb, which is he recommended like building the business profile as soon as you can. So then what I did was I ran through Domain in Newcastle, and I ran
which
through...
is where we live here in Australia.
Which is where we live, yes. And I ran through Domain, and then I ran through Airbnb for similar properties.
Okay,
and then kind of looked at both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So over here we have a modern one-bedroom apartment for $450 to $550 a week for a one-bedroom in the CBD.
$450 to $550 a week on Domain.
On Domain, and that's pretty much the most expensive that you can get for a one-bedroom.
It's a lot for one bedroom.
It's a lot, but that's like that was kind of the
range.
Sure
it's nice. Probably got a view or something.
That's kind of the range. So I mean, and I agree that you could probably go down to $350. For a one-bedroom in the CBD. Yeah. But there just weren't any available at the moment. So
okay. Yeah, I mean rent's pretty hectic.
Yeah, rent is hectic at the moment. Yeah. And in the local market. So anyway, the cheapest Airbnb in Newey at the moment was $800 for a week-long period. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was comparing weeks to weeks, and that was like next week or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there were multiple listings for $1,200 for that whole week period for a one-bedroom apartment. Yeah. So that was pretty crazy.
You can double your money.
So if you assume that you had a 50% occupancy rating, that kind of thing, you would still make $600 and you would pay $450. So you would still, if you had a 50%.
Ah, I see. If you get the rental at $450 and then you rent it out at $600 or whatever it is, or your total return is $600 because it's half of $1,200 or whatever. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
So there are definitively...
How interesting.
There are definitively places where you could... So, and that's assuming 50% occupancy. But there are places
where...
And
that's assuming you clean it yourself.
Yeah.
And manage it yourself.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's still good. So, but there are definitely places where you could make a higher spread off the difference there. Like there are definitely places near the beach or whatever which are a little bit more undervalued, that kind of thing, and you could make some good money. Wow,
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but in like my kind of conclusion is like it'd be better. It'd be interesting to model it, but it's probably better to own your own Airbnb. Yep. But you can't continuously scale that, like, and ramp it up crazy. Like you can.
It's capital intensive, right?
Yeah, it's very capital intensive.
Yeah.
Whereas the other thing is just you're taking a risk. You're just taking a bigger risk.
Yes.
And then
interesting.
Just being like, haha, let's see if this works.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool idea. Don't know about the legalities of it. I don't know if we condone it, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see what happens.
Nailed it. Alright, do a reset. Alright, so the Toyota Supra. It's recently came back. They brought it back in 2020.
Toyota Supra.
Yeah, so if you're a car guy, if you're a Japanese car guy, that's a pretty big deal for you. If you're not a Japanese car guy, you might not care. And it's a bit different to stuff we've talked about in the past, so bear with us. But so this is the 5th generation Supra.
And we saw one the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, it's just kind of what inspired me. I actually saw one in the flesh for the first time the other day, and it was done really well. The wheel fitment and the exhaust and everything was just really perfect. It had this kind of like matte, it was like a matte metallic grey. I don't know.
Yeah, it was
satin?
a matte grey.
Is it satin?
I would say matte grey.
Matte grey? It was beautiful. It was insane.
Interesting.
I don't know. Satin's a word.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gazoo Racing is like it's like the new TRD of Toyota.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's like their new racing department within Toyota. So you'll see 2 vehicles at the moment, as far as I'm aware, getting around with GR. And I'm going to say this will definitely change depending on what country you live in. If you live in Japan, there's probably other stuff. But particularly where we are, there's a Yaris GR.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
my dad considered purchasing. It's actually cool, all right?
Instead of his Hyundai N25 or whatever.
Yeah.
What's it called?
No, Hyundai i30N.
i30N. Okay.
2021.
2021.
Okay, so they've got the Yaris, and then obviously this is the next one. They've got the Supra. The Supra actually came first. So this was basically launching the GR brand, or the Gazoo Racing brand, in Australia and around the world. And so they're actually built in Austria, which, I mean, that's kind of cool. It's near Germany, and so it's like a good vibe.
It's
right?
a BMW, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Z4.
Yeah, it's Z4. Yeah, that's what I thought. The rumours are true.
So I've got a fun game at the end, which will illustrate exactly how much of it is a BMW.
All right.
But we'll come to that in a sec.
Good.
So their biggest rival that they were trying to build to match was the Porsche Cayman. And so that was kind of like the inspiration. Now, the first thing you're going to say is it's a completely different setup car. So the engine's behind and all stuff like that. But that was still like their benchmark in regards to bang for buck and the type of person who'd buy the car. And so it's actually 26 years since we've seen a Supra for sale new in Australia.
Very interesting.
And so to bring it back, it's pretty special. And so the first 150 Supras sold online when they opened it in the first 22 minutes.
22 minutes?
Yeah, 22 minutes, 150.
Wait, so the first 150?
Yeah,
right.
So the first batch of Supras that were released in Australia, 150 of them, sold in 22 minutes. Excuse me. And so a bit more about the car. It's 50-50 weight distribution. The way they achieve that is if you've seen it, and I'm sure there'll be a photo about there, the nose of the car is quite long.
Yeah.
And the cabin is fairly small. And so the engine's a little further back in the nose, and it gives you a 50-50 weight distribution once you've got a driver in the car. And so it weighs 1.5 tons, which is pretty good.
It's fairly heavy.
No,
yeah.
Well, I mean, in today's standards,
yeah.
you're looking like a GTR is going to be over 2 tons.
True.
And stuff like that. So it's reasonable for a new car. Rear-wheel drive, obviously. Straight 6, 3-litre, single turbo. Something like 250 kilowatts and 500 newton meters torque. So it's reasonable, like it's sporty. And so the US actually this year, 2021, are getting a 4-cylinder version. So, which kind of reminds me of the whole Mustang thing, where there's like cool Mustangs driving around with V8s,
and then there's a 2.4
weird EcoBoost Mustangs driving around, with like Fiesta engines. Or Focus engines. And so I guess they're doing that kind of vibe as well, which sure, it gets people into the market at a cheaper price. So it is what it is. I'm not sure if they're coming to Australia, but they're certainly going to the US. 0 to 100, 4.3 seconds.
They're only bringing the cool version here?
I haven't seen a 4-cylinder version available in Australia yet.
Yeah.
So it might just be the US. Yeah, keep them out. 0 to 100, 4.3 seconds, and it's got 2 driving modes, comfort mode and sport mode. And then within those, you can adjust individually or as a whole the engine sound and response, the transmission shift pattern, the dampers, the steering, and the active diff. Now, the active diff is cool because it has infinite changes, so it has infinite amount of lock. So you can go from 0 to 100% of lock. So you can go full 100% lock, full drift mode.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool, because the people who are going to want to buy these are going to want to do that.
That's that's a really cool setup.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 people going to buy this. There's going to be young, cool people who like JDM cars, who want to drift it, who just run some e-commerce business and have the money. And the other group of people who are probably the larger portion are going to be the 50, 60-year-old boomers who wish they had the money back in the day to buy the Supra, but they have the money now.
But I feel like more of the second demographic will buy it, and more of the first demographic will buy it in 10, 15 years. Yeah. Because it just straight up can't be afforded by most people.
It's expensive. So on that note, there's 2 trims. Here in Australia, there's 2 trims. There's the GT trim, which is 85k Australian, and then there's the GTS trim, which is 95k Australian. And so I guess the differences are the GTS trims, bigger brakes, and an additional inch rims, and they actually look significantly better.
Yeah.
Heads-up display and just some premium audio, whatever brand it is. And it's a 8-speed auto, which is a bit controversial.
8-speed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were looking for manual.
Definitely.
But they haven't come out with that. it could be an option in the future, but we don't really know.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't think that they would release it now that they've finished with the car, you know?
I don't know. Gazoo Racing have continued to say they want to develop the car.
Yeah, okay.
So, for example, the 2020 version in the US had something... I'm going to be making these figures up, but it's something like... the 2020 version had 40 less horsepower than the new 2021 version, or 47 less horsepower than the 2021 version.
Right.
In the US.
So they really are developing.
They continue to develop it. And how that outflows into different countries will change, depending on, emission standards and whatever, safety standards and whatever it is. But particularly in the US, that's an example of them continuing to develop it. Okay, so here's the game. I'll name a part of the car, and you can guess whether it's made by Toyota or BMW.
This is a good one.
Okay, you ready?
Here we go.
Engine.
BMW.
Yeah. Chassis.
Toyota.
No.
Oh, wow, okay.
Every piece of suspension hardware.
Toyota.
No.
Oh, no.
All the electronics.
Well, I can't keep saying Toyota forever because I want it to be more
All the electronics.
Toyota.
What do you think it is?
Let's go BMW.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think that one, yeah.
Infotainment system.
Oh, that's got to be BMW, surely.
Yes.
Yeah. They would do a better one.
The steering wheel.
The steering wheel, I'm going to say Toyota.
No.
Really?
Yep. The climate control system.
The climate control system, BMW.
Yeah. The shifter.
The shifter, please be Toyota.
No.
All right.
The key.
BMW.
Yep.
All right.
So you can
you're
take
buying a
away
Z4 with a different badge.
Correct.
But, it's a Toyota. It seems more reliable.
Here's the thing, right? Would you like to buy a BMW that's all Toyota parts, or would you like to buy a Toyota which is all BMW parts?
Definitely the Toyota that's all BMW parts.
There you go. Go out and buy it.
The next car, we're going to edit out all the parts where I said what it was before. The next car weighs just 600 kilograms. It comes with a manual gearbox. It's rear-wheel drive, rear-engined.
Really?
It's owned by the famous talk show host Jay Leno.
What?
He has one.
Is this some rare sports car or something?
Well, you would think so. But it's made by the same company that makes Jaguar and Land Rover.
Wow, this must be sick.
So, quite impressive there. And it's the Tata Nano. Here's a picture.
Whoa, what is that? My goodness.
So, I had a picture to show you as well because I had prepared earlier.
Oh, wow.
And,
this preparation. It's mind-blowing.
I just have to find it. So anyway, it's made in... Oh, no, I don't have a picture. Never mind.
Okay, whoa, look at that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You get the idea.
I have seen it before.
So it's the Tata Nano.
Yep.
And it's the cheapest car in the world at $2,500 USD. Or at least it was the cheapest car in the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was developed in 2012 and its production ran until 2018. Unfortunately, they don't make them anymore, which is very disappointing.
2012 to 2018?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was meant to be the car that all Indians would love.
Okay, so it's an Indian car.
It's an Indian car. It's made in India.
How many wheels does it have?
It has 4 wheels.
Okay.
So it has 4 wheels and an engine. You should be happy.
Yeah.
Rear engine, rear wheel drive. And the whole idea of the car, was that it was made to get rid of the dangerous motorbikes. So there's
to replace the motorbikes.
Literally millions of potentially a billion motorbikes in India.
If you've ever been to India, it's fairly dangerous.
There are over 1 billion people in India.
Yep.
And probably, I would say 75% of them have a motorbike.
Yep, and they sometimes have as many passengers as what you'd put in a Honda Odyssey.
Yeah, so that's the idea of the car.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of the car is to replace the motorbike because they would have all 4. They would have the wife, they would have 3 kids on the back.
Oh yeah.
And
at least
it would be like a Vespa.
Yep.
And so they would be barely hanging on.
Totally.
And so it comes with a 2-cylinder 37 horsepower engine.
37?
Yeah, 37.
To be honest, 37 horses, you'd think it would be pretty powerful.
Yeah. Well,
it's probably not though.
It's 600 kilos, so it's better than 1.5 tons or whatever the heck that Toyota Supra was.
Yeah.
And and it comes in a 4-door or a 5-door hatch. So there's an interesting one for you.
Okay.
I don't know if it's missing a door on one side or if it just doesn't come with the back.
4 or 5 door?
4 or 5 door.
Okay.
So the hatch is one of them on the 5, but the non-premium version.
The non-premium version, you just have to access the boot from the inside the car?
Well, no, I think it has 3 doors on one, 2 doors on one side, 1 door on the other side.
Oh, there's a supercar that has that.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, I wish I knew that off the top of my head. There's like a legit supercar that has that.
Well, this is basically the same thing.
Dang.
So there you go. So
cool.
Here's one thing that's even more interesting than that, which you wouldn't believe it. It's the 200 horsepower Super Nano. So this is done.
What?
So this is done with a racing bike engine.
A Hayabusa engine? Surely not.
So this one's unfortunately it's custom and not available to the public, but a custom company makes.
Oh right.
But they make the Super Nano. So I think they've made a couple.
Okay.
But it's got a 200. It's got wider wheel arches. It's got racing tires, and here's a picture of it. Here's a picture of it going around the track. So I watched a segment on.
Oh.
I watched a segment on Action Racing India. I'll play it while we're playing this video.
Okay.
But it's quite impressive. It's got a fuel. It's got like so like right in the back of the car.
Yeah.
It's got a tiny racing bike engine. It's like really small, but it's 200 horsepower.
I'm gonna bet it's a Hayabusa engine.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We'll see.
All right. And yeah, it's impressively quick around the track because it weighs nothing. And it's
rear-wheel drive and it's
rear-wheel drive and rear-ended.
You'd have to expect the suspension setup's pretty average, but
well, you would think that it would start taking off with a rear-wheel drive, rear-engine, tiny thing like that.
Totally.
That weighs nothing.
What you'd think is
the front would lift.
The front would lift, and then as soon as you go around the corner, you'd turn the steering wheel and you'd just go straight.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I would have thought.
I mean, it was an enjoyable clip, though.
Yeah?
I'll show you the video later.
I'm keen to see it.
It was very funny.
Great.
But, yep.
Perfect. What's that? The Super Nano.
That's the Super Nano.
That's such a funny name.
Based on the Tata Nano.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there we go.
All right. Welcome back. So, we've been chatting about a few different ideas, and something that we found interesting is some interesting auctions. So I looked up a few facts. I think they're real. If they're not, some of them are funny, so it's worth it. Okay.
Definitely.
So these, I've got 4 items, and they're all... Sorry, I got 5 items here. 5 items. The last one's definitely true, and I think the other 4 I think are true.
Yeah.
And so they're all pretty interesting. So I'll just tell you what they are. And so it's auction item and how much it sold for.
Okay.
So the first one is, do you know William Shatner?
William Shatner is the voice of the Star Trek universe.
No, he's the main character.
Yeah, the main character, and he's also
the captain.
He's also a voice in a song written by.
Okay, I don't know this.
Oh well, now I'm gonna have to type it. Now I'm gonna have to look it up and type it because I don't know what the band is called. Common People by Pulp something.
Wait, so he sings in that?
He speaks in the song.
Okay.
So he does a voiceover.
Like he does a cameo.
Yeah.
In the song.
The song is called Common People.
Right.
I've forgotten who it's by. It's Pulp something.
Really?
And it's like a 1980s London band.
Okay.
He's a voice in the song Common People. And so the original song is by them, but I think someone else covered it and put his voice in it.
Okay.
And he speaks the words of the song.
As in they cut little words.
No.
He actually does it.
He came into the studio.
He did it.
And spoke the words of the song instead of singing it. And then they just put the music behind it.
Would you like to know how much someone paid for one of his kidney stones?
This is disgusting. All right. So are we going to do like a guessing game style?
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
This is all in USD.
Should I give it a range or should I just guess the actual number?
Nah, just guess a number.
I'm going to guess... Oh, kidney stone. That's so disgusting. I'm going to guess...
Let me give you a gauge because they're all going to be really different. I would call this one...
Oh, it's more fun if I randomly guess though, isn't it?
Okay, randomly guess.
I don't know.
Guess it.
$150,000.
25 grand.
25, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I had a way bigger number in my head.
You obviously like him.
All right. I mean, Star Trek people are
crazy. A violin that was played on the Titanic.
On the Titanic?
Yeah,
okay.
That they found.
And
See, I find this not super believable, but...
Did they find it in the wreckage, or...
I'm going to have to assume...
Take it off on the boat.
Take it off on the boat? What do you mean?
So take it off on the rescue boat, like...
I don't know.
Or on the...
I'm going to have to assume that it was on the lifeboat, because it said it was played as it was going down.
Oh, that's very dramatic.
It is dramatic. It's a bit too dramatic. It sounds unreal. What do you think it's worth?
I'm going to go with $50,000.
1.7 million.
1.7 million.
Yeah.
That's insane. All right.
US too.
All right.
Okay. This is
I
going to
had
be
my
great.
gauge wrong with that one.
This is going to be great. You're
All
going to be way off for this one. A 65-year-old slice of royal wedding cake.
Oh, from the Royal... Okay, all right.
From UK royal wedding
All right,
cake.
so in terms of, like, rankings, William Shatner is, like, here. The Royals, in terms of fan base,
Okay.
like, Star Trek people are crazy, but
Yeah.
Royal
People love the royal
fans,
family.
it's even more. It's even
I mean,
more
we could go on a tangent as to what the royal family do, but we don't have time. So continue.
I mean, we do. It's nothing. It's almost nothing. I think Harry was starting a podcast. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
They got a great spot for their house, though. I'm just saying that.
True. The Queen has a Range Rover, so that's a nice thing. That's pretty much all they do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with a slice of cake from the royal wedding. It'd be like gross. It'd have to be refrigerated all the time, surely.
Yeah, it's probably frozen. I would have thought.
Yeah, you'd think so. So I'm gonna go with. Is it in pounds or is it in?
No, everything's US.
Yeah, everything's in USD. I'm gonna go with $100,000.
$925 dollars.
All right, $925.
Dollars.
I was so wrong. It's not very good. Like no one who would want that.
Why not $900?
Okay.
Why would you pay more than that?
Well,
You're crazy.
People are crazy.
Why would you bid that?
I'm not the crazy one. All right.
Okay. Warren Buffett's autographed Cadillac.
Autographed Cadillac. Well, he's a value man. He's all about the low value items.
He does love value.
Well, high value, low cost, I guess.
Yeah.
I would go with autographed Cadillac. Do you know what year model it is?
No.
Okay.
Looks kind of modern though.
Okay, I'm going to go with...
Hang on. For reference, if you were to buy a Cadillac in Australia, it would cost like 150 grand. If you were to buy a Cadillac in the US, it would cost you like 30 grand.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Massive to import. I'm going to go with $75,000.
$123,000.
That's my closest one, though, surely.
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, so this last one is actually definitely true, and it's really interesting. Not saying the others aren't true, but they might not be. A 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO.
Oh, this one. I'm going to
What do you
say...
mean this one? You're saying it like you know.
Well, I know that they go for crazy numbers. Like,
Okay.
I know that Ferraris
Old Ferraris.
are known for being insane. And, like, as soon as someone crashes them, the other ones go up by 1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's true. When there's 10 left and some old guy crashes it,
I'm
it's
gonna
only good
say-
for all the other 9 old guys.
yeah, that's true, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go with... So, it's a GTO?
It's a GTO. So I'll say it again. It's a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO. And
Yeah.
there'll be a photo here.
And there'll be... Alright, so just for my editing purposes even,
Yeah.
is it the bread van version or the non-bread van version?
I don't know what that means.
So, there's a bread van version, which means that the back extends all the way... Like, so that the roof extends all the way to the back.
I'm going to say I don't think it is, but
Okay.
I'll confirm that with you after.
'Cause I'm
And
pretty
whatever's
sure-
there is what it is.
I'm pretty sure there's two versions. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm going to go with 13,500,000.
It is 48.4 million.
Oh my gosh.
And
48.
that is the most expensive car ever auctioned in the world ever.
Okay, so I believed that it was 26 million was the most expensive one, but
Right.
that's obviously more, so that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So like
That was in
until-
2018, and it was at RM Sotheby's, which is the number...
Sotheby's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Sotheby's.
No, I don't think I said that.
Okay.
And that's a number 1 classic car auction house in the world.
Yes. Well, maybe it was what you said.
Well, we said the same thing, so
Okay. All right.
it probably was. Okay.
I'm just gonna have your voice over my voice. All right. All right. So
What have you got?
my segment is called
You
marketing.
got a name for it.
Marketing fails of the not of anything, just marketing fails. So
You love marketing, don't you?
yeah, I do love marketing.
Okay.
It's one of my premium
You should have studied
topics. I should have studied it. I really should have.
it. Yeah.
So this one, and this is gonna be a little game, so don't look at my screen.
Okay.
All right, so this one's a really classic company that promotes social causes. Like it promotes a lot of like equality and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So they're really into making their company believe in like people before profits and all that kind of stuff. Right?
Okay. Right.
So it's Ben and Jerry's. You've
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
something that was a bit of a fail in their marketing.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to show you a picture.
Okay.
And point out what you think is wrong with it.
Okay. All right.
But all right, so we're going to go. This is a picture that they had to apologize for.
I've never seen this.
This is their. All right, so this is what it's called. This is the product name. So you can see immediately what you might think.
Yeah.
Is wrong with it?
Yep. I can see something that might be wrong with it.
Okay, so the ice cream for all the audio people only. It's called Ben & Jerry's Black and Tan.
Yeah.
And now here's why. All right, so tell me what you think might be wrong.
Uses. Well, you can't. I don't know.
All right, so do you think that it might be a racist?
Yes, that's what I think,
thing?
but I'm just not quite sure what to say.
But the thing here is that it's not. It's
right.
not. They didn't have to apologize because of that.
Okay.
That's not a reason to. That's not like what was wrong with it.
Okay. Right.
So, in 2006, on St. Patrick's Day, they released this.
Yeah.
And it was released in Ireland.
Yeah.
For the Irish population.
Okay.
And it was supposed to appeal to. So, Black and Tan was supposed to appeal to Irish beer enthusiasts.
Oh, okay. They love their black beer.
That's a Black and Tan.
It's a Guinness.
Black and Tan is like a.
Yeah, they love that.
It's like two different types, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was a mixture.
I've heard of I don't know about tan, but sure.
It was like a mixture of like cream and different flavors that you get in a beer, apparently.
Okay.
So anyway,
right.
Black and Tan
was beer flavored.
Yeah, it's like a it's like a specific Irish taste.
I should love that.
So yeah, I think they would like it.
So we'll try.
Black and Tan is the name of a British militia that operated during the Irish War of Independence. And so they were known for especially violent brutality. and so there's a gigantic...
I would have thought that's probably just one Google search away.
One Google search away, but 2006 was a different time.
That's true.
I guess they just didn't know.
You wouldn't find that on Bing.
They had no...
Or Yahoo, or whatever they were using.
That's where the $100,000 consultant came in. That's where the fee came in for that time.
Wow.
Because I guess that's when they didn't get an Irish consultant in.
Wow.
To immediately say, hey... Definitely don't release this in Ireland. They would have talked to no one from Ireland. Okay. All right. So my next marketing fail of the day is Facebook's VR campaign. Have you heard of this one?
No.
All right. So do you want to take any guesses as to what happened?
Facebook's VR campaign.
So they released a product. Mark Zuckerberg personally released in a keynote kind of speech and a demonstration.
Yeah.
And a VR
headset.
Not a VR headset. Well. I'm not 100% sure if it's a VR headset or not, but it was a VR experience that Facebook released.
That Facebook released.
Yeah.
I could only assume that. Right. I don't know what the problem with that is.
Okay, so I actually saw this one.
Seems fine to me.
I saw this one when it came out.
I'm going to say it's fine.
It's okay.
I'm going to say it's not a fail.
Nathan
it's a trick.
It. It's a trick. It's a trick. So, Mark Zuckerberg rode around on top of a 360 degree view of a top of a car.
Yeah.
He had a little avatar that was kind of riding on the top of the car.
Yeah.
And then his other Facebook assistant had a little avatar.
Hang
and they
on.
Were chatting.
Did you just say Mark Zuckerberg's driving the car?
No, he's not driving. He's he's on top of the car as an avatar. He's sitting there as though he's on a little tour of the country.
Absolutely.
And the country was Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And it was right after the devastation of a hurricane had blown through Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And so he was showing that he was walking around and he was like bumbling around as an avatar figure.
Yeah.
And he was explaining, it's a devastated place.
Okay.
There's a lot of and then
bring awareness to it.
He was showing Puerto Ricans with axes trying to chop trees that were on top of their roofs, and he was showing them clearing the river, all that kind of stuff, doing working in the devastation.
Yes.
And then he's talking about the features of his VR system. It's not a hurricane, it's the aftermath of a terrible
hurricane.
Hurricane.
So there's just destruction everywhere. Everything's just collapsed. People have lost everything.
And then he's going, now Rachel, my assistant, she's not even in the same room as me. And we're able to communicate on this VR system.
Jeez.
And then he's taking a virtual tour with someone else. And then he's like, hey, give me a high five. Give me a high five. And she's showing the two avatars high-fiving.
Right.
And there's a guy clearing the river. And
wow. Okay.
And it's one of the most obvious things that I've ever seen. That's horrible marketing.
Yeah, right.
Fail, because it's
fail.
It's obviously so terrible.
It'd be pretty cool if you edited right now, a big fail sticker thing. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Definitely. And my third and final marketing fail of the day is the Pepsi ad with Kendall Jenner. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, so
Apparently I don't see any of this marketing stuff.
this one was genuinely... This is the one that you should have seen out of all of them. Out of every... a lot of people have noticed this one. Anyway, so it was an ad that Pepsi ran, and Kendall Jenner is like modeling in a South American kind of place, and she's like got all the lipstick and all the lighting set up, and they're like making some really good photos, and
sounds fine.
Yeah, and it seems fine.
Yeah.
And then there's a protest that starts marching past.
Really?
And the protests are like, woo, and they're all like young creatives.
Are they part of the campaign, or is this just random?
No. This is like, it's an ad. It's made to be an ad.
They've done. Okay, it's scripted.
So it's a full scripted ad.
Okay,
that's like made to be a video.
Okay, so they come past. Yeah.
These young creative kind of like people are coming past. They're all like hipstery kind of wearing button-up shirts and stuff. And and then this like Islamic woman comes down, and she's like a really inspirational photographer.
Okay.
And she's like taking photos of the riot, and it's like, look at this change, look at what's happening.
Pepsi.
And it's a Pepsi ad. And then there's a whole line of policemen that are like standing and like ready to blockade.
Jeez,
but they're all wearing
really intense.
But but they're all not. They're not wearing like riot gear or anything like that. They're just regular like policemen in uniform.
Yeah.
And this is in, I don't know, it's South America, Brazil, something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're all angry. They're all like, "Oh, what's going on? There's a protest going on.
Yeah.
We're going to stop them right here."
Okay, yeah.
And then no one's got any kind of weapons or batons or anything like that.
Yeah, of course.
And then they're all really angry. They're not letting her go. And then she comes up.
Not letting who go?
They're not letting everyone go past a certain point. So
Okay.
everyone in the riot.
Okay, yeah.
And then Kendall Jenner comes up.
Okay.
And passes the policeman at the front a Pepsi.
No.
And and then he cracks it. And he drinks it, and he's like, and he's really happy. And the crowd starts cheering. They like start clapping. Yeah. And then all the policemen are like kind of happy and dancing around and stuff.
They're all just friends all of a sudden.
And they're all friends all of a sudden. And it was something. And then it goes, live bolder, live louder. And then it's got all the the young crowd are like dancing together, and they're like having fun.
So the only way I could see that possibly happening, because clearly that's a strange idea.
Yeah.
Is like, that's not a good idea that's been perceived in a bad way, or there's been a connotation that was unrealized or anything. That's like just clearly just a strange idea, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think we can all agree on
that.
So I guess the only way that could happen is, I guess, Pepsi have outsourced their marketing for that campaign.
But someone's got to take responsibility.
Obviously the marketing manager at Pepsi didn't watch it or something.
They greenlighted it, so it was obviously on TV, so...
Totally. He obviously sent the email, said, that looks great, let's do it.
Just without watching it.
Potentially had a busy day,
Yeah.
didn't watch it, and actually it was a bit weird.
Yeah. So one of the things was, I think Nike were just starting to be super socially kind of woke.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that they were trying to follow Nike, but instead of taking an actual position, or instead of doing something actually like kind of meaningful, they were just like, haha, you know what people love? They love protests.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's very relevant at the moment.
Yeah, it's very relevant.
After all the Republicans just stormed the Capitol building.
So I saw
yesterday.
a lot of comments.
That was crazy.
A lot of the comments on those posts were, I wish Kendall was here with her Pepsi can. So people remembered the ad
because she's in it.
Yeah, and she's the one that calms the police down. Like she hands them a Pepsi and calms them down. So a whole bunch of people commented that. Meanwhile, she in whenever it was 2018, 2017, she posted this like crying video where she's like apologizing.
Really?
She realized it was super insensitive.
Really?
It's not what protests are like.
Well, I suppose from her perspective, she might not really have any idea of the storyline. For all we know, they might have just cut scene and shot scene after scene after scene.
And they're like, now you hand the policeman a Pepsi.
Yeah, and she's just thinking, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
It's Pepsi. They've got their, they're switched on.
Yeah.
They've done this for a while. They've done a few campaigns.
Yeah.
They know what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Comes out and she's like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. Definitely agreed.
So, interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Is that it?
I think that wraps us up.
Okay. I love that.
I think that was our best episode yet.
Could be.
Definitely. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify.
As we always say, just give us what you think in the Apple Podcast app or in the Spotify podcast app. Just tell us what you think. Give us a review. Give us a few comments.
Put the comment. Make sure you like and share.
Make sure you like and share. And
remember that doctors recommend you listen to this not once, but 3 times a day.
It's HQLA.
It's HQLA. I didn't know if I knew you were going to do that. You gave me any cue. Anyway.
Clearly I was going to do it.
Wrap it up.